Okay, just so we get about 7 of us here in person, another 8 or so online. We have an international group online, international and local. Hello, Nina. Good to see you.
Hello, David, and all the assembled people.
Yes. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Hare Krishna, we're studying Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 3, Chapter 9, entitled Brahma's Prayers for Creative Energy. We're studying text 4. It's February 22nd, 2026. Naranam namaskritya naram chaivanavotamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should first offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Sarasvati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nashta prayeshva bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavat yutamashloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 9, Text 4. We'll start with the Sanskrit words responsively. Tad, va, idam, bhuvana mangala, mangalaya, dhyane, sma, no, darshitam, ta, upasakanam, tasmai, namo, bhagavate, nuvidema, tubhyam, yo, nadrito, narakabagbir, asat prasangai. This verse is spoken by Lord Brahma, who's really the first guru in our parampara, and he's the engineer of the universe, the first living being in the universe, we can say accurately. And earlier in the morning program, about 40 minutes ago, we played the Govinda prayers with, actually there's a series of 27 verses in the Sri Brahma Samhita, all ending with Govinda Madipusham Kamaham Bhajami. And so this is the same meter. There's 14 syllables in the meter, and it's spoken by the same pure devotee of Krishna, Brahma. So it's the same meter as the Govinda prayer, spoken by the revealer of Brahma Samhita. Okay. So we'll do one line at a time responsively. Tadva idam bhuvana mangala mangalaya. Dhyanesmano darshitam tu upasakanam. Tasmai namo bhagavate nuvidema tubhyam. Yo nadrito narakabag birasat prasangai. Tadva idam bhuvana mangala mangalaya. Dhyanesmano darshitam ta upasakanam. Tasmai namo bhagavate nuvidema tubhyam. Yo nadrito narakabag birasat prasangai.
Virasat Prasangai.
Tadva idam bhuvana mangala mangalaya.
Tadva idam bhuvana mangala mangalaya.
Dhyanesmano darshitam ta upasakanam.
Dhaneshmanu darshitam ta upasakanam.
Tasmai namo bhagavate nuvidema tobhyam.
Tasmai namo bhagavate nuvidema tubhyam.
Yo nadrito narakabag birasat prasangai.
Yonadrito narakabha virasat prasangai. Tadva idam bhuvana mangala mangalaya.
Tadva idam bhuvana mangala mangalaya.
Ayane smano darsitam ta upasankanam.
Dhyanesmano darshitam ta upasakanam.
Tasmai namo bhagavate nuvidema tubhyam.
Tasmai namo bhagavate nuvidema tubhyam.
Yonadrito narkapakvir asat prasangai.
Yo nadrito narakabag birasat prasangai.
Tadva idam bhuvana mangala mangalaya.
Tattva idam bhuvana mangala mangalaya.
Dhyanesma nodarshitam tad upasakanam.
Dhyanesmano darshitam tat upasakanam.
Tasmai namo bhagavate nuvidema tubhyam.
Tasmai namo bhagavate nuvidema tubhyam.
Yonadrito narakabag virasat prasangai.
Yo nadrito narakabag virasat prasangai.
Tadva idam bhuvana mangala mangalaya.
Tadva idam bhuvana mangala mangalaya.
Dhyanesmano darshitam tu upasakanam.
Dhyanesmano darshitam ta upasakanam.
Ashmi namo bhagavate huvidema tubhyam.
Tasmai namo bhagavate nuvidema tubhyam.
Yo nadrito narukapad virasat prasagai.
Yo nadrito narakabag virasat prasangai.
Tadva idam bhuvana mangala mangalaye.
Tadva idam bhuvana mangala mangalaya.
Dhyanesmano dirstim tat upasakanam.
Dhyanesmano darshitam ta upasakanam.
Tasmai namo bhagavate navidema tubhyam.
Tasmai namo bhagavate nuvidema tubhyam.
Yonitrito narakana bhagavir asat prasangae.
Yo nadrito narakabag virasat prasangai. Would anyone else, online or in person, like to lead the chanting of the verse?
Tadva idam bhuvana mangala mangalaya.
Tadva idam bhuvana mangala mangalaya.
Dhyanesmano darshitam ta upasakanam.
Dhyanesmano darshitam ta upasakanam.
Tasmai namo bhagavate nuvidema tubhyam.
Tasmai namo bhagavate nuvidema tubhyam.
Yonadrito narakabhagvir asat prangasaye.
Yo nadrito narakabag virasat prasangai. Okay, we'll study the word meanings. Tat, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna.
Va,
Va.
or.
Or. idam,
this present form,
this present form,
bhuvana mangala,
bhuvana mangala,
O you who are all auspicious for all the universes,
O you who are all auspicious for all the universes,
mangalaya,
mangalaya,
for the sake of all prosperity,
for the sake of all prosperity,
dhyane,
dhyane,
in meditation,
in meditation,
sma,
sma,
as it were,
as it were,
na,
na,
unto us,
unto us,
darshitam,
darshitam,
manifested,
manifested,
te,
te,
your,
your,
upasakanam,
upasakanam,
of the devotees,
of the devotees,
tasmai,
tasmai,
unto him,
unto him,
nama,
nama,
my respectful obeisances,
my respectful obeisances,
bhagavate,
bhagavate,
unto the personality of Godhead,
unto the personality of Godhead,
anuvidema,
anuvidema,
I perform,
I perform,
tubhyam,
tubyam,
unto you,
unto you,
ya,
Yah,
which,
which,
anadrita,
anadrita,
is neglected,
is neglected,
naraka bhagbi,
naraka
by persons destined for hell,
by persons destined for hell,
asat prasangai,
prasad prasangai,
by material topics.
by material topics.
Translation: this present form, or any transcendental form expanded by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, is equally auspicious for all the universes. Since you have manifested this eternal personal form, upon whom your devotees meditate, I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Those who are destined to be dispatched to the path of hell neglect your personal form because of speculating on material topics. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Regarding the personal and impersonal features of the Supreme Absolute Truth, the personal forms exhibited by the Lord in His different plenary expansions are all for the benediction of all the universes. The personal form of the Lord is also worshipped in meditation as Supersoul, Paramatma, but the impersonal Brahmagyoti is not worshipped. Persons who are addicted to the impersonal feature of the Lord, whether in meditation or otherwise, are all pilgrims to hell because, as stated in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12, text 5, impersonalists simply waste their time in mundane mental speculation because they are addicted more to false arguments than to reality. Therefore, the association of the impersonalists is condemned herewith by Brahma. All the plenary expansions of the personality of Godhead are equally potent, as confirmed in the Brahma Samhita, chapter 5, text 46. Departure eva hita santa ramaplupecha, dipayate vivrita hetu samana dharma yastadrik eva hicha vishnutaya vipati govindamadi pusham tamaham bhajami. The Lord expands himself as the flames of a fire expand one after another. Although the original flame, or Sri Krishna, is accepted as Govinda, the Supreme Person, all other expansions such as Ram and Nrsimha, Varaha are as potent as the original Lord. All such expanded forms are transcendental. In the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is made clear that the Supreme Truth is eternally uncontaminated by material touch. There is no jugglery of words and activities in the transcendental kingdom of the Lord. All the Lord's forms are transcendental, and such manifestations are ever identical. The particular form of the Lord exhibited to a devotee is not mundane, even though the devotee may retain material desire, nor is it manifest under the influence of material energy, as is foolishly considered by the impersonalists. Impersonalists who consider the transcendental form of the Lord to be products of the material world are surely destined for hell. Om Gyanatimirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayamupakadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavams Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Saganaraganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitan Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagna Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitam Cha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagat Pate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radhakanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatu Yubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanan Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Sarasvati Devi Gravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 3 Chapter 9 Text 4 Tadva idam bhuvana mangala mangalaya janes mano darshitam ta upasakanam tasmai namo bhagavate nuvidema tubhyam yo nadrito narakabha birasat prasangai. This present form, or any transcendental form expanded by the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, is equally auspicious for all the universes. Since you have manifested this eternal personal form upon whom your devotees meditate, I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Those who are destined to be dispatched to the path of hell neglect your personal form because of speculating on material topics. Hare Krishna. Okay, so there's a text spoken by Lord Shiva to his consort Parvati. Narayana prasarve natu kashtana bibyati svarga pavarga narakes vapitulyarta darshina. So he's appreciating the devotees. There was a whole pastime there in the 6th canto Srimad Bhagavatam. And Mother Parvati recently cursed this devotee, King Chitraketu. And Chitraketu, he's like, oh Mother, thank you for your curse. I am so blessed. Like that, essentially. And so Lord Shiva is appreciating, he said, well, these devotees, they're like amazing. Like he's not like cursing you back or complaining, it's not fair, something like that. He's, so what he says is like a devotee can be in heaven or hell or an earthly sphere or the transcendental world or the lower planets or whatever. They just want to serve. Mm-hmm. They just want to serve Krishna. They just want to serve Krishna. And that's the bliss of the soul. That's the bliss of the soul. And this way, it is so. In Anasuya just led Sri Guru Charana Padma Chakudan Diliye Janme Janme Prabhu say, singing to Srila Prabhupada. You fill a heart with transcendental knowledge. Divya Gyan, Prabhupada says. Divya Gyan is, that's Diksha. The essence of the process of initiation is Divya Gyan or Diksha. Transformational, transcendental knowledge. That's the essence of the process of transformation. And we qualify ourselves to receive that transformational, transcendental knowledge by a humble service mood. And Jakudan Diloi, Janme Prabhu say, and you're my Lord birth after birth. So what Srila Narottam Das Thakur is indicating there is that, like, yeah, like I'm certainly not, like, nowhere near qualified to, like, go back to Godhead or something. Vaikuntha planets, Goloka Vrindavan, like, obviously based on the whole collection of material desires that are so precious to me. I'm going to take birth again and again and again and again in different species and planetary systems, and fine, as long as I can serve you, Srila Prabhupada. So that's the mood of a devotee. Am I going to be enjoying in the bushes with Radha and Krishna? No, how can I serve you, Srila Prabhupada? That's the mood of a devotee. Then the irony is, then that's the Goloka. Then Krishna is very pleased with that mood. Krishna is very pleased. Oh, you're just dedicated to serve my pure devotee. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Nadanam Najanam Nasundrim Kavitam Bhajagadisha Kamaye Mama Janmani Shri Bhavatad Bhaktira Hetukitvaye. So he says, I have no desire for beautiful women. I have no desire for wealth. I have no desire for followers. I have no desire for profit, adoration, distinction. I'm reminded of a quote we've been quoting a lot from the writer Thomas Wolfe. He said, you've achieved the pinnacle of success as soon as you've become uninterested in popularity, compliments, and money. So it's another way to say what Lord Chaitanya is saying. I have no desire for any of this. And he says, all I desire is to serve you, speaking to Krishna, all I desire is to serve you. Birth after birth after birth. So I just want to serve you in like the gopis. It's like, just like, again, I'm so fallen, obviously I'm going to take birth again and again as long as I can serve you. Okay. So there's no heaven or hell for a devotee. So the bliss is, just let me serve you. Okay. You'll be in the fires of hell. I can chant Hare Krishna, I can serve Krishna. Great. Now, and then but then a situation where one can't serve, that's hell. For a devotional heart, that's hell. For a devotional heart, that's hell. Okay? This is a very key point. So that's why what Lord Brahman Prabhupada is saying, like, yeah, they're not saying it's a hellish mentality, someone who appreciates the impersonal aspect of the absolute. Vedanti tattva vidas tattvam yajganmad vayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabdyate. There are three primary aspects of the absolute truth: the Brahman, the Brahmagyoti, super soul in the heart, and Bhagavan Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. Right now in our we have our Bhagavad Gita course. Some of you are in that. So we're studying chapter 14, and in the very last line of the last verse of chapter 14 of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Brahmano hi pratishtaham. He says, I am the source of the impersonal Brahman. So to appreciate the oneness of all energies, because so this is a Chincha Beta Beta Tattva, diversity on the platform of oneness. So, but what the hellish mentality is one who's addicted. That's the word, that's the term used here. One who's persons who are addicted to the impersonal feature of the Lord. That's hellish mentality. No, because again, like, oh, hell, lower planets, the species, that species, as long as I can serve you. But see, in the impersonal conception, if we're addicted to the impersonal conception, then it's just like, then there's oneness. Then, because to serve with love means two. Right? Love means two. If actually all variety, all distinction is illusion, and we're actually all one. No, there's a sense in which that's true, but like if there's only one, there's no question of love. Love means a voluntary exchange of service and affection and appreciation and devotion between two living entities voluntarily. Once there's force or coercion, there's no love. Okay. So so impersonal realization of the absolute, it's actually a glorious spiritual achievement from one point of view. At the same time, if one's addicted there and attached there at the expense of recognizing and appreciating the name, the form, the qualities, and the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then for a devotee, even though there's happiness in the impersonal realization, and it's the happiness of relief of the suffering of the torment of material desires. So it's an impressive spiritual achievement, and for a devotee, it's hellish, because I don't get to serve, because I don't get to serve. So from a point of view of Lord Brahma and Shukadev Goswami and Maharaj Parikshit and Srila Prabhupada, that's a hellish situation. That's a hellish situation. And because, like, okay, again, this is spoken by Lord Brahma. We quoted Brahma Samhita in the purport, Departure Evi to Santarama Bhupetya. So this is authorized, just taking a few moments to appreciate, like, everything we're getting from Srila Prabhupada, this is authorized Vedic Siddhanta, Vedic conclusion. And even some of you know a bit about my history, starting actually in 1980, I started taking prasad at this State College Bhakti Center, directed by Stamba Das Prabhu. Stamba is Steve McLean. He lives in High Springs now. We're still in correspondence once in a while. And for 3 years, that was my only service, consuming copious amounts of prasadam. And I did it well, in excellence. I was very proficient. And it was service, but I wasn't consciously. I wasn't like, oh, I'm eating this samosa because I'm serving God or something like that. But that's, Prabhupada said that prasadam is our secret weapon. And so it worked. The secret weapon worked on me like that. And and then starting in the summer of '83, when I left State College, Pennsylvania, had my bachelor's in psychology, then I started like voluntarily chanting, because I had so much material ego, who I was there in Pennsylvania, in State College in Philadelphia. I couldn't let anyone know, not family or friends, that I was actually, as far as this Krishna consciousness, I couldn't let anyone in on the secret that, I like food. I like food, yeah. So, well, no, actually, this is an intriguing philosophy. It's attractive lifestyle. So, but when no one could see me and I was backpacking around Europe, I started allowing myself to chant Hare Krishna because no one could see. And that's in one sense, that's the beginning of my voluntary devotional service. Like that. Let me try this process. But anyhow, even back in the prasadam only days, I could sense like there is a deep, solid authoritativeness, not authoritarian, but an authoritativeness. Because even in those prasadam days, I was reading some of Prabhupada's smaller books, Science of Self-Realization, Beyond Birth and Death. I could see from Stamba's lectures, like, this isn't just like, I went to the yoga center, I saw some cool guy, and he said blah, blah, Like this is like, again, I wasn't admitting it even to myself, but like, okay. So, authoritative. And so, okay, kind of like the standard or a standard process is a meditator, because the idea is to appreciate the greatness of Source. We can use the term God or the Absolute, the greatness, the greatness. And appreciating the greatness in ancient Vedic yogic practice, one realizes the distinction later today at 11 o'clock, we're doing a Sattva Sattva session, and I'll be leading it. It's about using the intelligence to make distinctions in our process of transformation. The distinction between body, gross body, subtle body, and spirit soul and Paramatma, or super soul. And some yogis, they get confused and they think they are the Paramatma. That's like, it's a potential pitfall. Okay, but okay, so like, yeah, that's called that's the Kshirodakashaya super soul, and Antarasto, Pramamchantarasto, the super soul in the heart of all living entities. It's called Kshirodakashaya Vishnu, same as a super soul within each atom. Then there's the Garbhodakashaya Vishnu. We can appreciate the greatness of the universe, and this. So to appreciate God is great. So that's the beginning of what's called Shantaras, the neutral relationship, the neutral relationship. Then, in the first of the seed verses of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, this is chapter 10, text 8, Bhagavad Gita, Ham sarasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. That such sages who are transcending material desire, such sages and saints, then they realize the greatness of the Creator. Then naturally they begin. Then naturally they want to serve. And then that's the beginning of what's called dasyaras, the service, the service rati, the service mood. And then so then again, if one's addicted to the impersonal stage, then there's no question of service. After all, the only one to be served is me, because I've realized I'm God. So the only one so these are potential pitfalls and distractions. Okay. Of course, examples we often give. No one actually believes I am you and you're me and we're all one and like that. No one actually believes that. If you actually believed it, like, okay, so then for you it's fine if the wallet in your pocket were in my pocket instead, because I am you and you are me, and it'd be fine. So far, though, no one's given me their wallet, which makes sense, because there is a distinction. No one actually believes that nonsense. But it's like a cool thing to say. I heard it from some yoga guy or something like that. So, okay. Yes. So the goal here is not to become God. The goal is to become a humble servant of God, humble servant of Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. And so this is philosophy, and it's so practically important. The root cause of all anxiety and suffering is misidentification of the eternal soul that we are with the temporary body. Vayam dvitiya vidiveshatasya, that's from Srimad Bhagavatam. To the extent we misidentify the eternal self with the body, we will be in anxiety. But what if I do 12 years of therapy? Still, if we're misidentifying the eternal spirit soul with the temporary body, you will feel insecure and fearful and scarcity. The whole grungy list, it will be there. But what if I smoke this? Yeah, even more so. Because, like let's say if I'm already in layers and layers and piles of illusion and delusion, and so let me add another few layers by some intoxication. Yeah, that'll surely help. Okay. I mean, in the short run, it might numb the pain. I'll forget that I'm forgetting. Like that. So, yes. So that's like in all of our Safato programs, we focus on self-awareness, self-realization. At the same time, that's only very partial. That's only very partial, because the root cause of sure, the root cause of, we can use the term sin. By sin, I mean anything that we do, say, or think that alienates ourself from source, from our true nature. Okay, just to deconstruct the word. And so the root cause of all of our alienating activities is forgetfulness of our loving devotional connection with Bhagavan Sri Krishna, the very substratum of our existence. We can conceive of the absolute as external, and the very heart of our heart. Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Videsha Arjuna Tishtave. Krishna says, I am situated, a full expansion of Krishna is situated in the heart of all living entities, including everyone here. So to the extent that we're alienated from that, then that leads to more and more downward spiral. More and more downward spiral. And so it's described in the Bhagavatam, Yene Ravindakshati Mukti Maninas Tvayasta Bhavada Vishuddha Buddhaya Aruya creature in the Pram Padam Tada Patanyado Nadrita Yushmadangraya. That even if one has achieved some liberation from material desires and some realization of the non-personal aspect of the absolute, if the devotional service mentality doesn't develop, then they're going to go again into material life, which means activities that alienate the self from the self. The prime speaker of Bhagavatam, Srila Shukadeva Goswami, he was a realized impersonalist, but he was not addicted to the impersonal conception. It's described about him, Atmaramashtamuniya Nirgvanti Apyarukrame, Kravantahi Tukim Bhaktim Itam Bhuto Guno Hari, that he heard Bhagavatam, and then he got attracted, and then he went back to his father. It's a whole thing. He was completely impersonally realized, so he was in his mother's womb for 16 years. Because he was like, I don't want to come out. I'm just not doing it. I'm just not, no, I know what this world's about. And then Krishna himself had to come to convince him, look, you got a special mission here. So then he went to his father, heard the whole Bhagavatam, then he spoke the Bhagavatam to Maharaj Parikshit. So, and also this morning, before Japa, we read from the 15th chapter of the 3rd canto of Bhagavatam. It's a chapter entitled Description of the Kingdom of God. Glorious chapter of Bhagavatam. Description of the Kingdom of God. And to the 4 Kumaras, they were also impersonally realized. But they weren't addicted to the impersonal conception. So the Kumara, so Shukadeva Goswami he heard Bhagavatam. The Kumaras, they got a whiff of the fragrance of the tulasi flowers offered to the feet of Vishnu, and they were transformed to pure devotee personalists, because they weren't envious of the personal form of God. They weren't envious of the personal form of God. And so we're talking a lot about form. Again, this is okay. Like Sri Vyasadeva, he revealed all the Vedic literatures, the greatest literary accomplishment in history, the Upanishad and the Puranas and the Rig Veda and the Atharva Veda, and etc., etc., etc. And afterwards he was morose, he was despondent. And it's because he realized that people would miss the essence, especially in this age of Kali, where Manda Sumanda Matyo Manda Bhaga Upajrita, people tend to be not so spiritually inclined. Payana, Payusha, Sabya, Kavasmi, people tend to quarrel over petty nothings, big wars within ourselves and wars within. Can anyone relate to quarreling over petty? No, we won't even do it. Right? We could do a whole therapy circle. Like, yeah. Okay. So then it's like that characterizes God. So Vyasadeva got that. Like, people aren't going to get the essence, which is to serve Krishna with love and devotion, even though it's there, but they're not going to get it. So he had an empathic talk with his spiritual master, Sri Narada Muni. And then, and this is described, and this is all authoritative. Like if we really want spiritualism, if we really want to learn physics, we go to an authorized teacher. We really want to learn piano, we go to an authorized teacher. It's like we really want spiritual life. Let's not mess around. Now, yeah, but this, you can research elsewhere. This, doubtlessly true, authoritative knowledge about spiritual life. And by definition, that means it's not always going to say what I want it to say. Because by definition, my mind and my ego are materially conditioned. So we can expect parts of it to be challenging for my ego to hear. And that's the opportunity for purification. And so Vyasadeva, at a place called Samya Pras, beautiful place surrounded by berry bushes on the bank of the Sarasvati, he sat down in a trance of bhakti yogena manasi samyak pranihite male apashyam pusham purnam mayam chayad apashrayam. And then he got a full realization of all aspects of the absolute truth in their interplay with each other. And then out of compassion, because he really wanted us inhabitants of Kali Yuga to get bhakti. Anarto pashamam sakshat bhakti yogam anhokshaje lokasya janatad vidams chakre sattvata samhitam. As a result, he revealed the Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is Sarva Vedeti Hasanam Saram Samudrita. It's the cream of the Vedic literatures. The cream of the Vedic literatures. And then jumping forward about 4,500 years in history. So then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he appeared. It's like Prabhupada gives the example. Like, so Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's Krishna himself. He's like, well, is that just your opinion? And everything Prabhupada gives, it's authorized. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, revealed, it's eternal, revealed 5,000 years ago. Srimad Bhagavatam says, Krishna Varnam Trisha Krishnam Sango Pangastra Parshanam Yege Sankirtana Prayers Jantihi Sumedasaha. That Krishna will appear in a golden form in the Kali Yuga. He'll appear with his associates, and what's he going to do? Yage Sankirtana Prayer Yajanti. He's going to engage in Sankirtan. See, there's a picture of Lord Chaitanya's and associates engaging in kirtan, chanting. So, why this month? So it's described in the Vedas. Everything's authorized. Okay, so like we can accept or reject. Let's get everything here is authorized. Everything Prabhupada's given. Iti Sodashakam Nam Kali Kamasha Nashanam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Sri Chaitanya Prabhupada gives the example like so like Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, he's giving devotional service. Radhaman Pritya Gyamame Kam Sharanam Vraja Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshya Shami Ma Shucha. Abandon all real yoga process, philosophy process, religion process. They all have their place and they all culminate in devotional service to me. Don't be attached to any rung on the ladder. They all lead to bhakti. Be attached to serving me with love and devotion. Okay. And then there was so much emergence of bhakti movement, but then it became dormant, covered. And Prabhupada gives example like sometimes a teacher might come to the student and say, okay, here's how you do it. And he'll take the pen. There's actually a picture, I think 1970, early 70s of Srila Prabhupada in the Dallas Gurukul, and he's with a student. And he's holding the student's hand, like, here's how you write the Sanskrit letters. The student in that picture is named Dvarkadish Das. I'll mention, 2006, he came to Florida and participated in the Safato Foundational Advanced Seminars. Couldn't resist mentioning that, so there you have it. Dvarkadish Das. Prabhupada has many sweet letters to him. He says, "Dear Mr. DDD." Yeah. Dwarkadiji, "Dear Mr. DDD." He was writing, he's like 8 years old, and so Prabhupada has very affectionate exchanges with him. And so just like a teacher might, okay, now the teacher doesn't need to practice, but the other. So Lord Chaitanya so Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, do devotional service, do bhakti. And then he's coming as Lord Chaitanya saying, here's how you do it. So he's Krishna, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayani is actually a combined form of Radha and Krishna, appearing as a devotee of Krishna to show like, here's how you do it. So what did he do? Kirtan, chanting Hare Krishna profusely. And this is the Yuga Dharma. It's described about Kali Yuga in the Bhagavatam. Kali doshe nide rajan astika mahatguna kirtanadeva Krishna siya mukta sangha param vrajet. That Kali Yuga gets described as an ocean of faults and shortcomings and all sorts of nasty stuff. But one special, redeeming, amazing quality about Bhakti Yoga, about Kali Yuga, is that we get to connect with the original joy and bliss of the soul through kirtan, and then through the name, then the form, and the qualities and the pastimes. Just about an hour and a half ago, I was talking to Stephanie there in the kitchen. So you had like some absorption in the name, and something got some weeds got pulled, and then you had like, because like you've seen the pictures in my home before, but they're always alive, but they came alive for you. So the form, the pastimes of Mother Yashoda, you had profoundly more connected, deeper, alive realization of the forms through the name. Through the name. So this kirtan, Harinam, Eva Kevalam Kalon, Steven Gatiranyata. It's ascribed, age of Kali. Engage in chanting the names of Hari. Engage in chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. This is the main process. Anyone, because through the chanting, then we connect with Krishna in the heart. Someone can say, well, what if I just meditate on Paramatma Krishna in the heart? Because I don't want to chant. In principle, you could do that. The chances of it being successful are practically nil. Practically nil. So this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, the names of God, especially Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, this is powerful in all ages, more than powerful. It's the most powerful force in the cosmos. But in previous ages, there were other options like silent meditation on God in the heart. But now, I'll speak for myself, I'm just like too distracted by so many things. So we often describe mantra meditation in that way, like any multimedia process. The principle is, the more senses engage in activity, the easier it is for the mind to focus. So in chanting, we're engaging the sense of touch. If we're using japa, we're engaging the whole body in dancing. We're engaging the faculty of speech and hearing and the tongue. And then naturally, the soul and the consciousness and the mind are absorbed in God. So it's the most recommended, but that's kind of an understatement. It's saying like, it's kind of an understatement. It's kind of because like, if you're really, it's like practically speaking for practically everyone in this age, it's like the only way. Harinam, Eva Kevalam, Kalona statement. No, but I'm going to try something else. Go for it. Hope it goes well for you. This is an authoritative process. Coming to closure here in my talk. This was at the beginning of a Sappho seminar around mid-2025, not too long ago. And somehow I was talking about these things on I don't know, as years go on, the whole kind of transformative communication, Srimad Bhagavatam, they just kind of merge into one for me. I don't know what's happening there, but we were talking about these things, and there was someone, a very philosophically oriented participant. He said, because we're talking about be, do, have. We're talking about be, do, have, right? As opposed to have to be or do, have, be, or like that. So we're focused on be, do, have, living from be, do, have. And then he said, well, I see that those like Bhakti Yoga practitioners, the devotees, but like you're doing you're committing to 16 rounds per day, and you have to you're following these rules. That's a doing. So I said, so that sounds like do, have, be, or do, be, have. So it's a very intelligent question, and then so I responded, and essentially I responded like, it's be, do, have, because it's be, do, have in the most essential sense, because the essential being of the soul is Jivara Srupoy Krishnera Nityadas Krishnera Tasta Shakti Beta Beta. The essential being of the soul is blissful servant of Krishna. That's the being. And then all the other qualities, power and beauty and freedom and security and joy and peace. I mean, all those infinite qualities of the devotees, sometimes divided into 26 qualities, and sometimes in Bhagavad Gita, so many lists of qualities. So our central being is, I'm a servant of Krishna, I'm a loving servant of Krishna. So what do loving servants of Krishna do? They enthusiastically glorify his name and discuss his pastimes, and they enthusiastically are inspired to offer a flower to Krishna's pure devotee, Srila Prabhupada. So all of the doing, and then can tell rules and regulations, all of the doing, it's a natural expression of the being. And then the having is ever increasing bliss and joy. And so, you know, there's this conversation I quote sometimes. A devotee is, I think it's a morning walk. It's a conversation, it might be a morning walk. And the devotee is one of the students of Prabhupada, like, kind of maybe some grudging attitude, like, oh, there's 16 rounds, and it's like a lot. And the Prabhupada is like, why not 16,000 rounds? Why not 16,000 rounds per day? And Prabhupada said, the only reason you need to commit to 16 is because you don't have a taste, right? So the spirit soul in its pure, shining brightly radiant form is just enthusiastically 24 hours a day. How can I serve? How can I increase kirtan? But because we've allowed the diamond to get covered, then we accept some rules and regulations to gradually cleanse and uncover the natural being of the soul. So there are so many ways we can serve, and it's recommended, particularly in this age, whether it's picking a flower, preparing bhoga to offer to Krishna, organizing a devotional program. There's infinite ways to serve, and it's encouraged to accompany our services with this chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thanks for your presence and attention. Thanks for listening to Srimad Bhagavatam. I welcome at this time if anyone would like to share any comments or realizations or ask any questions. Questions or comments at this time?
I'll share something.
Stephanie.
Today I had a lot on my heart.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Not much story around it.
Mm-hmm.
but
Experience.
yeah,
You were feeling it. Yeah.
yeah, I was feeling it while chanting. And chanting for me lately has been an experience of pain,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also necessary.
Yeah.
Like I felt this is the pain that is, my path to freedom.
Mm.
Like on the other side of this, like basically that I've been realizing lately I need to devote designated hours of my morning to chanting.
Yeah.
Because I'm in a process right now.
Yeah.
Where it's just critical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And commitment has historically been hard for me. I've had resistance,
Mm-hmm.
fears of oppression of my freedom. Or,
Fear that you'll be oppressed by commitment, so you've been resisting that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, I guess mainly I wanted to share in hopes of serving anybody here that for me, being radically honest with, what's going on in my life, how I'm feeling, just like giving everything that I can to chanting.
Mm.
Like being as embodied as possible. This has been my process.
Mm.
I don't know what
Mm-hmm.
others
Yeah.
need, but for me it's been really transformative.
Mm.
Like even just one round
Mm-hmm.
in a
Yeah.
triggered, emotionally activated state, and I'm calm.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's really powerful stuff, and I
It's
did
powerful stuff.
yeah, and I did like 16 rounds today in less than an hour and 10 minutes or something. An hour and a half, I guess, with the drive, which I
You
wasn't.
were chanting intensely and intensively. Yeah.
Yeah, and I wasn't. Sometimes I'm like, oh, got
Yeah.
this many rounds to go.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like, no, this is like liberation. This is the purpose of my life. This is like the pain that I can't usually access. This is, I'm clearing the karma of
So
my
like
heart.
freeing, not necessarily happy, but rich. And you had some glimpse of, I want to chant 16,000 rounds. You had some glimpse of it. Wasn't about 2 more to go. You had some experience in that.
Mm-hmm.
A taste.
Yeah, it really felt like a trance where,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
7 rounds, 8 rounds, 9 rounds, like it was just going. I wasn't like, sometimes when I'm chanting, I'm like, okay, it's kind of like my ego keeping a score, and there's shame around that, or there's pride around that, and today it was just like, full immersion in the transformation of my embodied experience.
Mm.
And I've been practicing lately just kind of radically trusting my intuition
Mm-hmm.
and super soul guidance. Seeing that, like, even if I had some mental idea of how I need to
Mm-hmm.
use this time or this whatever, like, okay, now I'm feeling like very clear that this is the way that I need to act, and trusting that. Like I've historically second guessed myself a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's looked like, here's my voice and here's a bunch of doubts, and lately it's been like, here's the first thought, and that's like your intuition, your best guess at what's the best thing, even if you don't quite mentally understand it. So I was doing that during the process of chanting. At first I was feeling this like fire in my heart, this fire of purification.
Yes.
For a long time. I mean, I don't know, that was maybe constant throughout it, but at least it was very present. And then it became more in my solar plexus diaphragm, where I've been like building this strength lately, physically but emotionally. Like I've been building physical strength.
Yeah.
It's almost like the emotional strength has forced me to like develop stronger abdominal muscles or something.
Yeah.
But I've been like getting strong in myself
Yes.
lately, and in that it's like decisiveness, commitment, the courage to do what's hard because it's what's right, like those sorts of things. I feel I'm getting stronger to my core values, etc. But yeah, so I have this understanding of, okay, these physical processes are happening for me. I'm pretty certain I've had something with my heart that is my work this lifetime, is my, purifying process, and chanting has helped me to go into that, among other sorts of breath work, but really chanting keeps me there, or brings me through it faster than other methods that I've tried. And so I don't know, it was just, my process today was really residing in that fire wherever it was in my body. Of at first it was in my heart, then it went to my diaphragm, core, and then from that place I was having a lot of realization. It wasn't very mental, but it
wasn't mental or cognitive. It was actually really from the core of your being.
Yeah. And it was almost like I freed myself from some of the pain, some of the false identification of attachment that I've absorbed in my lifetime, in my infancy, in my trauma, whatever, past lives, karma, and then that brought me into my strength and into this strengthening process that I was going through, where I felt like all of this energy moving through my body, where I needed to kind of just, I do like a shaking leg kind of thing. I was just letting the energy move, and I was also feeling like I need to do something like a sit-up, like some core exercises, because I need to channel this energy. And so I mean, it's kind of like the different sorts of intelligence, or the body's intelligence that I'm familiar with in my own emotional healing, spiritual transformation process. Like all of these things were coming together, and it was a purely thoughtless place. And from that place there was these kind of like aha moments of just, okay, that's what this emotion is. You're allowed to feel that. And then I was, having renewed, like I was having clarity, and I was having like forgiveness. And I mean, it's hard to describe exactly, but it was like, I was seeing, okay, this is where this pain comes from. This is how it's manifested in my life. This is the trauma that I've endured as an adult, because I haven't been strong here, strong in myself, strong in my boundaries, strong in my healthy, righteous self-protection, and like complete devotion to what is truth in my being, in my soul. What I know for myself is best for myself. So it was, it was kind of this like very embodied process, and I'm still in it, but I just wanted to offer that because I feel like sincerity has been something that others have witnessed in me in certain regards, and I think that this is sincerity for me. Is like, how can I be sincere, honest, powerfully committed to the purpose of life in my chanting practice? And for me, that looks like, doing the heavy lifting of really facing my fears, facing my pain, facing whatever is there on my heart, in my being, in my, and coming to, just creating more of a clear channel of communication from my soul. Because when that other stuff isn't in the way, then I can receive the message more clearly. And I can honor that without it being, so tense inside, or, so I mean, I'm just in this process, but for me it's looked very embodied, it's looked very emotional, and it's been immensely purifying, and I feel like I've made a lot of progress releasing what's been chronic pain and very physical anxiety and shame, and my posture's changed, my heart has opened, I'm coming into more contact with self-love and the truth of who I am. So and in that process then I was like, today chanting, seeing Krishna's image and seeing like how blissful Krishna's consciousness is. That like seeing these images of him, I was just further pulled into this trance of, and I'm like a very visual, creative type, but I was just completely mesmerized by his eyes and face and expression. And in that it's like completely, like infinitely giving of pleasure. Like, so just having that, like being able to empathize with Krishna, being able to revere Krishna and really start to have some kind of understanding of where he's at. And so I mean, it gives some kind of, refuge amidst the pain, but it's also through the pain that we find that refuge, was what I was, I guess, seeing. So, thank you. I just wanted to share, that's been some of my experience, and I'm very grateful for today, and this practice.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thanks for sharing. I'm moved by hearing your transformational experience from this morning, from chanting. Thanks for sharing. It makes me a deep impression on me.
Thank you.
Any other sharing, comments, questions at this time?
I have one. It reminded me when Stephanie was talking about chanting and the potency of chanting. And I've experienced times when chanting was so potent for me that it just was like a big bright light on life.
Yeah.
Krishna was just wonderful. And I felt like there wasn't anyone there for me to inquire with. So I'm curious about Shiksha and Diksha Guru, and how do we position ourselves, of course being regulated and chanting, I know that, but how do we position ourselves to inquire, to approach, to, I was talking with my husband about the difference between Shiksha and Diksha and who and how and that kind of thing. So I'm just curious if you could talk about that.
Okay, I'm glad to. Thank you, Raina.
Yeah.
I'll speak something.
Okay.
At the same time, I'll be glad to hear what's your realization about Siksha and Diksha, if just so I know.
Well, I know like a Diksha guru is an initiating guru.
What's that mean?
That you commit to me, that you commit
Okay.
to being regulated,
Okay,
to
sure.
chanting,
Yeah,
to chanting 16 rounds, and he also accepts your karma.
Okay.
You know, there's a
Okay.
karmic exchange
Yeah.
there. And a Shiksha guru is kind of almost like what I understand to be like a mentor, someone who
Sure.
gives you
Yeah.
advice and helps guide you, and someone maybe it's a different relationship than a Diksha guru.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for sharing. Yeah. Thank you. All right. So, yeah. Sometimes we talk about states of consciousness and stages of consciousness, and so, and so like I'm here. Like sometimes in chanting, you would have like some special epiphany state of consciousness. Maybe sometimes not, and that's my experience too. And that's where the commitment to sadhana is important, because if it's like when I feel an inspiration, a loving inspiration, then I'll chant and get up early. But the past 5 years I haven't felt that, so I haven't chanted like that. And that's where it's just like, to the extent we've allowed ourselves to become conditioned and the diamonds become covered, then that sometimes the taste is more there, sometimes less there, sometimes it can feel dry, and that's where the commitment comes in. That's where the steadiness, and then with the steadiness, then usually gradually our stages of consciousness raise gradually, and the epiphany states of consciousness are there to support inspiration. Let me be even steadier in my practice. So Srila Prabhupada, in many, many places, he describes Diksha, even in Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, Upadekshanti te Gyanam Gyaninastat Pradarshana. Krishna talks about Diksha. So the essence of Diksha, just like what you're sharing, Stephanie, what you just shared, you are alive in the process of Diksha, transformational, transcendental knowledge that transforms the heart. That's a Diksha. So Prabhupada emphasizes Diksha is a process. It's not intrinsically an event. It's not intrinsically an event. It's a process. Now the process can include an event of formal Diksha initiation. Essentially though, Diksha is a process. Like on April 11th, here in Alachua, there will be an event, a formal initiation. Bhakti and Rosemary, and I see Bhakti and Valerie are here, and others will receive formal initiation from Srila Prabhupada. Lakshmi Priya will receive Brahminical initiation from Srila Prabhupada. So the essence of the process of initiation is transformational. Divyagan Ride Prakashito. We sing sometimes we hear it's like practically, it doesn't make any sense. Srila Prabhupada can't give Diksha, and then we sing every morning, Divyagan Ride Prakashito. We're singing. You're transforming our heart with Diksha. You're transforming our heart with Diksha. And my policy is Prabhupada can't give Diksha. Kind of like you need to stop singing that song or something, Okay. So Srila Prabhupada is fully 100% available to be the current direct link to the Parampara in the way Prabhupada defines the term Diksha, the Diksha Guru. Okay, let's say here, part of my service today is I hosted a program. I'm leading a Bhagavatam class and discussion. In this role, or in a role facilitating a Safatov seminar or a coach training, I'm endeavoring with maybe varying degrees of success. I'm endeavoring to be a Siksha guru. I'm endeavoring to be a mentor. And my role is not to be your link to Srila Prabhupada. You come to Prabhupada through me. No. My role as a Siksha guru on behalf of Srila Prabhupada is to endeavor to support and encourage and caringly challenging you to establish and 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 develop and strengthen your personal relationship with Srila Prabhupada as your current direct link to the Parampara, your Diksha Guru, like that. And so that's what you mentioned about, I mean, sometimes in a given week, I'm like maybe like 50, 60 hours on like correspondence or phone calls or one-on-one person sessions, endeavoring, I don't use that term much, but endeavoring to serve as a Siksha guru, to support people, responding to philosophical questions, just like I shared a few minutes ago. Someone in a Safatov seminar asked about, is that do have be? No, that's be do have. So that's like, so I'm endeavoring to be like Siksha mentor, and Srila Prabhupada, to support people to deepen their connection with Srila Prabhupada as the prime giver of Divya Gyan. So that's just a very brief summary, but I thought to mention a few principles. I'm going back to the 1990s. I've written a lot about these topics, and so I'm glad to share that with you if you're interested.
Thank you. I appreciate that. My sense was, of course, that you were endeavoring as a Shikha. But I'm curious about the whole process. You know, I don't know how fast it will happen for me or for my husband, but we're certainly sincere about endeavoring right now for ourselves and for our family, and are so much enjoying association of devotees and all the parts that go along with, evolution. So I appreciate that. I was curious about getting initiation from Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah.
Because he's given me so much guidance through his books.
You're like so grateful.
So grateful. So thankful. It's been so potent. There's been times it's been so potent. Nectar devotion just blew me away.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So I'm just wanting to continue, pick up kind of, I carry my beads with me all the time. I've not been that great about chanting, but they're always with me.
Always with you. It is sometimes said our Krishna consciousness is as far away as our japa beads.
Great. That's awesome. I love Krishna very much. I just want to get closer and closer. And you had said something that I think about a lot, that it's not that we need to see Krishna as Krishna needs to see us. So I'm interested in knowing, how how Krishna can see me. So that process there.
Thank you, Reina. You said, you love Krishna so much, and that's been my experience of you since we've known each other 26 years ago at the Govinda's restaurant. It goes way to practically seems like a previous lifetime.
It does. Seems like there's been many since then.
For Lindsay, Reina, I'm available, and I know others in this community also available to share experience, respond to questions. So I appreciate your presence and participation.
Thank you.
We have another 2 or 3 minutes. Was there someone online who had a comment or a question?
I have a question.
Valerie.
Aze's here too. um, just based off of what Reina was sharing, a question came, which is, can I receive Divya Gyan or Diksha from multiple people? I mean, like transcendental knowledge from multiple people? Because I feel like I do, and then I get confused because I'm in the mindset that I can't, or that I can only receive it from one person, and so then it's confusing to me. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Thanks for that. Yeah, so my understanding is, yes, you and I, yes, we can. And I appreciated how you addressed that, Rena. It's like, okay, yeah, okay, certainly, like I've had so many who've been inspiring for me, so many gurus, and okay, and not just in terms of like instruction, but in terms of divya gyan, transformational experience. Yes, yes, and that's why I say like I use the term with Srila Prabhupada as the current direct living link to the Parampara, the Diksha Guru, meaning Srila Prabhupada's the primary Vaishnav from whom I'm directly, personally receiving Divya Gyan. Also, what you said, Raina, okay, like maybe I'm inspired by so many, I have so many gurus, that's so true. There's guru in the singular and guru in the plural. Who's the one I'm committing to? That's Srila Prabhupada. Who's the one I'm committing to? My life is, I'm committing to your mission. I'm committing to dedicate, I mean, I'm not that sincere, I wish I was more sincere, but at least I aspire to commit to serve Prabhupada's life mission. Who's the one who, because we might have so many devotees from whom we see Divya, and their Krishna system, there needs to be one who's completely in the absolute position, no tinge of any subtle or gross material contamination. But, my view, so the answer is yes, and who's the one who we're committing to, who's the prime one from whom we're receiving direct, personal, transformational, transcendental knowledge. And you mentioned about like taking karma. My understanding is like a parent is taking the karma of their child. A teacher in the classroom is taking karma. Whenever we have anyone dependent on us, whenever we have anyone dependent on us, we're taking some of their karma. We're taking some of their karma, and that's why it's important to endeavor to be a transparent via medium, and not to use that dependency for our material enjoyment. And so in this process of initiation, Srila Prabhupada, or the guru in the singular, is the primary Vaishnav, taking our karma, giving Divya Gyan, and even from whom we're getting instruction, because even like Bhagavatam class every morning, where'd that come from? That's Srila Prabhupada. Chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Even when I heard from this one or that, there's a letter from Srila Prabhupada to someone named Andrea Temple, maybe in the late 60s. I'm not sure what gender is Andrea, but Prabhupada writes to Andrea, and he says, by hearing the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra from my students, you're directly receiving it from me. So even though we might hear it from here and there, no one's chanting Hare Krishna in the Western world, if not for Prabhupada at the age of 70 getting on the Jala Duta. So my understanding, and I appreciate your question, Bhakti and Valerie, is we can receive from so many gurus in the plural, and then as far as the guru is like that's the main devotee from whom we're receiving Divya Gyan, and the devotee to whom we're personally committing to serve their mission and follow them.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Bhakti and Valerie. I appreciate everyone's presence and participation. Srimad Bhagavatam ki.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.